Welcome back to my channel, Sunshine Shoulders. I'm Calvin. Thank y'all for stopping by. Why are people staying away from the Philippines? Is there trouble in paradise? I want to talk a little bit about that this morning. But I want to put a disclaimer out there. I don't work for the Department of Tourism. I have no skins in the game. This is just my personal opinion. Just another perspective. But I received an interesting email yesterday from Simon Smith. That's such a basic name, I don't even know if it's real. But shout out to Simon Smith. And he sent me this. The first email was, a list of the Southeast Asian and Asian countries and how many tourists arrived in 2024. Of course, Thailand was at the top, the Philippines was at the bottom. He said, this has been a topic of discussion, what's going on with Philippine tourism. He says even the Filipinos are complaining that we falling below Cambodia. He says, what's your take on it? He seems to think that it's infrastructure, incompetence, horrible visa policies, he says, and red tape. And that's good, Simon, that's your perspective. When I gave him my perspective, of course, he started attacking me, but we're not going to talk about that. I just want to talk about why people are staying away from the Philippines. He doesn't mention that there's something that happened. It was called the pandemic, Simon Smith. And the world is just now getting back around to pre-pandemic tourism numbers. 5 years later, some countries are recovering faster than others. I was here in the Philippines during the pandemic, during the lockdown, and I saw the tremendous effect that it had on this country. They're still recovering. He fails to realize I've been coming over here since 2009. When I started coming to the Philippines in 2009, you can look this up. It's easily to look up. Only 240,000 Americans visited the Philippines in 2009. Fast forward to 2019, it was over 1 million. As a matter of fact, tourism pre-pandemic up to 2019 was booming in the Philippines. They had set a record of arrivals, of international arrivals. I think it was like 8,260,000, the most it's ever had. Like a 16% increase year over year from 2018. Not only that, but domestic tourism was booming, up 10.5%. Because don't forget, everybody, there's domestic tourism that drives the industry over here. The Philippines is it's a unicorn, ladies and gentlemen. He disagreed with me when I said that. He said, Filipinos going from Manila to Cebu is not tourism. Dude, you have no idea what you're talking about. 8 minutes from me is a little island called Sapaway Island that has several resorts and beaches on it that's crowded, probably now. There's so many places over here in the Philippines, that you have no idea about. And Filipinos, family days on Sunday, they travel though. And they go to these tourism spots. But it was booming. And then the pandemic hit. But I want to talk a little bit about why I believe people are staying away. When I told him, I said, there's been some high profile cases here in the papers. Murders, kidnappings, robberies. Oh, it has nothing to do with it, he says. Bullshit. When South Korea, which is your number one tourist, and China, which was number two, China's dropped out of the top 5. When they stop coming, it's going to affect your numbers. And this is what's happened. Put on top of that, remember a young American by the name of Elliot Eastman Do you remember that? Was kidnapped and murdered basically for nothing. No one's really heard of anybody going to court. Don't you think that reverberates in the West? This was a young white man who got killed. People watch this stuff. It affects your tourism, especially when they see nothing's really been done about it. Okay, but to talk as if, oh, the Philippines, infrastructure, that's the tar. Because he said, me talking about crime and different things like that, and the pandemic. No, not the pandemic. It was something else I said, but he says, using that as an excuse is tired. No, the the infrastructure argument is tired, okay, because when people come to the Philippines, first of all, many tourists don't even come here for for infrastructure. And if they do, there's plenty infrastructure here, if that's what you're looking for. It'd be like me going to Jamaica, or Trinidad, or Rio de Janeiro, all these other beautiful, lush, green places for the infrastructure. When I came here in 2009, I didn't come here for the infrastructure. It never even crossed my mind. I didn't even come here for the women. I tried to get as far away from the United States as possible. But to say those things don't matter, South Korean international arrivals are down 18%. I believe China arrivals are something like 40%. They dropped out of the top 5. But it's not just the Philippines. If you look at Thailand, which Thailand was at the top, and you know the monster that Thailand is, right? Well, for the 4th month in a row, their international arrivals are down. Okay? Because these Asian countries are not going to Thailand like it used to be. This is the longest streak since 2021. And that's really what's going on with the Philippines. But tourism was booming here, and then, he started with the personal attack. And I'm like, dude, why are you attacking me? Because he claims I don't like it here. He says I'm stuck here. The only reason I'm here is because I got a wife, a child, a house. Dude, no, I'm here because I really love it over here. Okay, that personal attack was unnecessary. This is why I say I don't even know if this guy was real or not. But he put something on my mind. I wanted to talk about it. Is there trouble in paradise? Yeah, absolutely. Because they're still recovering from the pandemic. Their numbers are not back to pre-pandemic numbers. It's just going slower than a lot of the other countries. Malaysia's almost back. Vietnam had a spike, but they're still not back to pre-pandemic numbers. There's something called priorities. I don't think the Philippines really cares if you come over here or not. Not that they don't want you over here, but they have more important things. But eventually, it's going to get back on track. So thank y'all so much for stopping by. I just want to address that, numbers are down. Well, I don't work for the Department of Tourism. I have no skins in the game, guys. I'm too busy living my life to be worried about stuff like that. Remember, this is what I told him. This is a rule number 1 issue. Okay, I'm gonna shut the fuck up and mind my own business. But he seems like he he took a whole day to look up all this stuff, and it was an eloquent presentation. But you really don't know what you're talking about. I doubt you live here. Because the Filipinos that I talk to on a daily basis, the locals, they never even bring up tourism. That kind of stuff doesn't bother them. Okay? But look it up. Pre-pandemic, man, the Philippines was booming. People know where the Philippines is. It's just going to take a while to get these high-profile cases, the taste out of their mouth. Then they'll come back. Because when we travel around to these touristy places, the tourist spots, the tourist traps, they're packed with people. You can go on my channel. I was there in 2019 with my family. Me and my son are swimming in the ocean. It's packed with people. But then when me and Maryland and the kids went back in 2022, it looked the same. But the Todd argument is the infrastructure. Nobody comes here for the infrastructure. They come here for the beautiful beaches, the beautiful nature, the friendly people, to get away from the rat race. Okay, and the familiar. I mean, if we want infrastructure, we know where to get that. I'm kind of glad that the Philippines lags behind Thailand. Who wants to stumble over foreigners every 5 feet? Okay, I left America to get away from that kind of stuff. And the Philippines has been a great fit for me. Okay, but to say, it's just been this kick lately. I don't know what it is, this anti-Philippines kick. Well, go home or whatever it is. I don't come over here. That's all I'm saying. But to try to draw me into this argument, because he started immediately. Oh, it's incompetence. Oh, it's the red tape. Why even come over here if it's going to be a headache? Dude, what Philippines are you coming to? Then he talks about the horrific visa policies. Dude, you don't know what you're talking about. You can come over here. What other country over here in Southeast Asia can you come as a tourist and stay for 3 years? That's basically stay as long as you want, provided you pay the fees and everything like that. So what type of horrific visa policies are you talking about? And he's talking about the red tape and all that stuff, man. This comes from people, excuse me, who don't want to travel to begin with. You might as well just stay home. So if you're in America, if you're in the Philippines, wherever you are, fan your heart to help somebody. Not a day goes by that I don't help somebody. Because if I don't know anything else, I know this one thing for sure. We help other people, we help ourselves. Take care. Stay safe, stay out of trouble. I'll see you next time. And don't do anything stupid. If you want to go somewhere on vacation or to retire or whatever, just do it. Make the decision for yourself. Don't let all these experts either convince you or discourage you from making the move. Get off the couch and go. Yeah, tourism is down in the Philippines, but if you're somebody like me, you don't notice it. When I go to Boracay, it's still just as crowded as it was pre-pandemic. And Panglao and all the other places I go to. As a matter of fact, Siquijor is more crowded now. There's more tourists. But to you, Simon Smith, your email was so good, man, until you lowered down to attacking me and saying that, I'm stuck over here, that I really don't like it over here. You don't know me, man. You never met me. See, my thing is I'm so real that people think they really know me. You don't know me, man. Let's sit down and have a cup of coffee. You can ask me those questions. I'll be honest with you and tell you, but don't jump to any conclusions, man. Okay, I love it over here. And if I didn't, I wouldn't be here. I don't know how long I'm going to be alive. I don't play those kind of games. So take care, y'all. I'll see y'all next time.